अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So we did about 6, 7 verses. Okay. Any questions, clarifications? Because a huge topic I cut across last time. All clear? One of the most important verses there, that fifth verse. Ekam sankyam cha yogam cha yap pashyati sa pashyati. That sannyasa and karma yoga are not really speaking two distinct lifestyles. They are two distinct lifestyles as far as appearances go. But both are meant for moksha. That's important to understand that, It is not that Karma Yoga and Sankhya are meant for different goals. Both are meant for moksha. In fact, if you see all these obituaries in the papers, every Tom, Dick and Harry there is called Karma Yogi. He may be, he may not be, we don't know for sure. But he can be called a Karma Yogi only if there is a certain amount of commitment to moksha. If that is not there, then you are a karmata, you are doing a lot of karmas, that's fine. You may be a very good human being, doing a lot of good to people. Yeah. In fact, why not? Running an industry is also doing good to people. No? Creation of wealth, employment for people. It's all good things, very good things. Who said it's not good? Even though profit is a motive for them to run it, still a lot of good is happening in the country. Yeah. There is a creation of wealth in the country. A lot of people are employed. As long as there is no exploitation of the consumer or of the workers, it's great. Great service to the nation. We sometimes believe as though profit is a bad word. Why should Patanjali be making so much of money? Baba Ramdev. Yeah. It's fine. He started a business of Ayurveda and yoga to help people. And in the process, he built up $1 billion company. There is challenging other multinationals. Great success story. We are uncomfortable because he wears the saffron robes. More than that, plus he himself doesn't get any money out of that. He is only the face. He is not the person who is running the business. He is only the brand name. And he gets a small little this out of that, which he puts it into his trust. And the trust is meant for spreading yoga. So he doesn't have to go to other people for fundraising and things like that. So it's a good model. Why not? Yeah. What's wrong? Yeah. Nothing wrong in it. Anyway, that apart. Here, in terms of lifestyle, two lifestyles. One goal, moksha. One means knowledge. The differences in lifestyle is whether you are moksha along with other things. This knowledge, you are pursuing this knowledge along with other things or to the exclusion of other things. That's the only difference. If it is along with other things, then you are a karma yogi. If it is to the exclusion of other things, then you are a sannyasi. The question is only in terms of depth of commitment. Yeah. And that depends upon how ready you are. That's why he said, Sanyasastu Mahabahu Dukkham Aptu Mayogataha. Imagine this person who is in need to love and be loved, and he takes up sannyasa. What will happen? You create a problem for everybody, for himself and for others. He will not be able to handle that lifestyle. If he has some residual desire for some comfort, money, this, that, etc. See, sannyasis also may be dealing with a lot of money. That's a different thing. There are some trusts which deals with crores on a regular basis. But does it belong to the sannyasi personally, or is it meant for the work involved? It's all meant for the work. You come with nothing, you go with nothing. That's it. Nothing is in your name. Yeah. Like my teacher was asked, Swamiji, whom are you going to leave all your ashrams to? He said, it's not mine for me to leave it to anyone. I have a lot of students, among them, and the trustees will decide who is going to be in charge, not charge, etc. Whoever is free, he'll do it. Not mine. There is no succession plan. There is some sort of an idea, okay, since he's here, let him take charge of it and do it. That's it. So, the whole thing is very, very different orientation. Then, he had said in the last verse that we saw, Kurvan napi na lipyate, like it's the 7th verse. Even though he is doing, he is not touched by actions. Yoga yuktaha, one was karma yoga buddhya yuktaha, vishuddhatma. His antakarnaha vishuddham, cleared of all ragadveshas, etc. Vijitatmaha, who's mastered his mind, jitendriya, mastered at the physical level. Sarva bhutatma bhutatma, who has understood that I am the self in everyone. Such a person, kurvan napina lipyate, he had said. Even though he does a lot of actions, whether he is a sannyasi or a karma yogi. Whether he is a sannyasi or a karma yogi. Kurvan napi na lipyate. He had said this. Okay. That he is elaborating in the next verse. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyate tattvadat pashyan shranvan sprashan jigran ashnan gachan swapan shwasan paralapan visarjan granhan nimishan unnimishan api indriyan indriyartheshu vartante iti dharayan. Okay. Vartante iti dharayan. What is that? It says, Naiva kinchit karomi iti. I don't do anything. Why? I am the limitless consciousness. What am I expected to do? Iti yuktaha manyate. Yuktaha, the person who is together with the knowledge. Manyate, understands. Tattvavid, for emphasis. To understand, what do you understand? The reality, not anything else. Okay, Tattvavid manyate. What is it? Pashyan, Shranvan, okay, Sprashan, Jigran, smelling, Ashnan, eating, Gachan, walking about, Swapan, sleeping, Shwasan, breathing, Pralapan, talking, okay, Visrajan, giving up things, Visrajan, then Grannan, holding on to things, Nimishan, Nunimishan api, opening and closing the eyes. Meaning anything that you do, even some small things like this, big things of it goes without saying. This you don't have a choice over, they're involuntary. Many of them are involuntary. If anyone is talking at home, please mute your mic. Okay. Okay, he says all these actions are being done, but इंद्रियाणि इंद्रियार्थु वर्तन्ते इंद्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्ते इति धारयन् अहम किंचित करोमि. I am not doing anything. Indriyani, the sense organs and the mind. Indriyartheshu, with the object of the sense organs, vartante, they are functioning. And what are you doing? I am the pure consciousness, I am doing nothing. I am the pure consciousness, I do nothing. I am not doing anything. What am I doing? So it's a very peculiar situation. For all appearances, you are doing a lot of things. For all appearances, a lot of things are being done. I am teaching, you all are listening. Some of us are talking in between. All that is happening. You're cracking a joke, you're laughing, you're this thing. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. For everyone this is true. Some know. What is the difference? Either you know or you don't know. Or you are vague about it. Most students are like that. They are a little vague about it. Not that they don't know, but you can't say I know either. Therefore, indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. What do I do? Nothing. Mastaram Baba hoke baitha hai. Swami Chinmayanji used to say something. To be the calm center in the storm of all activities. All activities are happening, of course. Yeah. But what are you doing? Nothing. It's a great state to be. It's a great state to be. This is not, remember, okay, this is not attitude. Don't try to don't convert the teaching into a should or shouldn't. Don't get into should bury, must bury thinking. Should and must. No. This is a natural result of the knowledge. That means what? With the knowledge. People are all sometimes very scared. They come and ask me, Swamiji, if I gain this knowledge, what will happen to my wife and kids? They'll be very happy. Why? The guy has become very sensible after that. He is not so controlling, etc. Vice versa also. Yeah, don't you think women are not controlling? Oh my God. Don't tell me that. Okay. With the men, it is very overt. You can make it out very clearly. Why do you don't do that? Don't do that. This, that. With the woman, it is more subtle. You really want to wear that tie? The way she'll ask, oh, okay, she doesn't like it. Yeah, all right, okay. You don't look good in that shirt, you know. That color doesn't suit you at all. It's your birthday and she gets you a shirt. No, you would never have picked up that shirt by yourself. But अभी प्यार से दिया तो क्या करेगा? Don't worry, we sadhus lot are also like that. Only the wife is replaced by students. That's only the difference. I think one day I should come to you all wearing some kurta and dhoti that some of my students have given me. You look at that color and say, oh my God, please, Swamiji, don't wear this. I'll wear. क्या फर्क पड़ा? What difference does it make? I can't stand that color. I hate that color. It's only a color. What does the poor color do to you that you have to hate it? You don't care for it. You don't particularly like it. That's okay. That's fine. Anyway, that apart. Therefore, once you know the truth, okay, free from all this, okay, from all this. Yeah. So you can continue doing anything and everything you want to do, but with a sense of freedom. Previously, you did everything for the sake of getting happiness. Now you are doing everything out of a sense of fullness and happiness. Two different paradigms come into the play. Initially, it is for all of us, the worldly people, it is a paradigm of insufficiency. I am not a fulfilled, satisfied being. Therefore, I want to be fulfilled and satisfied by getting something or the other. A job, a wife, a house, children. Not that they don't give you some satisfaction. They do. Yeah. But not enough. Not enough. That's why you're always looking for something more. Yeah. Always looking for something more. Part of the game. And once you know the truth, you are already Ananda. You don't need anything to make you happy. Nothing can make you happier than what you are. It may manifest the happiness or it may be just simple. Then everything you are doing out of the Ananda. Entirely different question. You need nothing to make you happy? Nothing. What about your partner in life? Those of you here who are both husband and wife, both are here, you all are lucky. Do you need her to make you happy? Right now you need. And after knowledge? No. But you are choosing to be with her. That's called unconditional love. Only a person who knows the truth can really give unconditional love. Otherwise, all conditional. Why? It's conditional to how happy I am in the relationship. Otherwise, I love you will become after some time, if I am continuously unhappy in the relationship, I love you will become I love you. You go your way, I go mine. That's how it becomes. Therefore, out of a sense of fulfillment and Ananda, you can do anything and everything that you want to. Or anything and everything that society or responsibility decides. I never get tired of giving Bhishma as an example. Once he decided to give up the kingdom and everything for the sake of his father's happiness. Actually, Satyavati was closer to his age. He should have got married to her, not Shantanu. But what to do? The heart wants what it wants. Age doesn't always dictate terms. And both are in olden days, today also. Once the man and woman is 30 plus, age difference, etc. disappears. Before 30, maybe it will show. Okay, but once they cross 30, age difference, etc. can disappear. Yeah. So once Bhishma decided that, all right, I'm not going to be the king anymore. Then I'm a warrior. I'll help hold the kingdom together. But now what do you want? After being a warrior, what is left in life? Warrior, a prince. A warrior, a prince, someone who has tasted all the pleasures of a kingdom. Okay. The warrior power, excellence, the height of achievement. Only knowledge is left behind. That's why many warriors at the end of their life became monks. Plenty of stories, Puranic stories, that after they became a warrior, after some time they decided enough of all this. Yeah. Let me be a monk, let me pursue the truth, help me know the truth. Very common. Forget ancient warriors. Modern soldiers I have seen, I know quite a few of them, who become very spiritual. Says enough. We have served the country, etc. We have gained a certain fulfillment. We got married, our kids are grown up and all. Now what? Pursue the truth. I had students like that. Yeah. So, very natural. So Bhishma did that. And he was pursuing the truth. Why he decided to wait for some time? Why? His father has just got married. No? So, little bit help in running the kingdom, etc. Then his father falls ill after some years. He was deciding to go to the ashram, father falls ill. Oh my God. And now, without sitting on the throne, he has to handle the kingdom. Alright. Then Vyasa comes around. That time not yet known as Vyasa, known only as Krishna Dvipayanaha. He comes, cures his father. And the father, out of gratefulness, says, okay, what do you want? So Vyasa says, this is my dream of re-establishing my father's center of learning in the field of Dharmakshetra. Dharmakshetra was a field where Vyasa's ashram was there. Yeah. This Vyasa's father, Parashara, and his father, Shakti, their ashram was all in that place. So, that was burned down by Sahasrarjuna. So, to re-establish it. Alright, done, let us re-establish it. And the princes are still young. There is a lot of strife in the kingdom. Lot of politics, etc. So Bhishma says, whoever sits on the throne of Hastinapura, my sword will protect him. So all the intrigue, etc. stops because nobody wants to make Bhishma an enemy. He holds the kingdom together. Father dies. Princes are still young. Alright, I will wait until they grow up, then sadhu ban jayega. And they are grown up. Can you all hear me? See me? Yeah, okay. 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 So as the princes are still young, so he has to now wait. He has to wait. Can you all see me? I'm not sure. Am I? Huh? Okay, I think there is some problem. Hold on a minute, okay? Hold on a minute. This. Okay, can you all see me now? No? How can you not see me? Of course you can see, yeah, I'm there. I can see myself. Yeah, okay. Sometimes this gives a little bit of an issue. The network. Okay. So then Bhishma is now to wait One dies of TB, the other is killed in battle. Now who is going to be the crown prince? All right. They all turned to Bhishma. You accept the throne. He said, I am going to live and die by my promise. I will hold the kingdom together until you find a hair. So Niyoga with Vyasa, 2 children are born. Now we have to wait for them to grow up. At every stage you have to wait. His situation in life was such that he could not walk off to become a monk, a sannyasi. But he was living in so much of freedom on the battlefield because of his own word that I will support whoever sits on the throne of Hastinapura. He had to support the Kauravas. There was no choice for him. But he was happy, no problems. But he lays his conditions. I will never kill any of the Pandavas. The 5 brothers I will not kill. So one day Duryodhana comes up, he thinks Bhishma is not doing enough. He says, Bhishma, you are not working hard enough. And the old man looks at him and says, what do you want me to do? So Duryodhana thinks, I want you to destroy 1 battalion every day. Bhishma smiles, okay, done. Can you imagine that? I want you to destroy 1 battalion. By today's standards, there's 10,000 men. Those days, it is supposed to be 1 lakh. He does that job in 1 hour. 1 hour. 1 battalion destroyed. Then he says, I have done my job for today. He goes back to his tent and relaxes. He goes back to his tent and relaxes up. Once Bhishma has withdrawn, the Kaurava army is mauled by the Pandava army. So Duryodhana goes back and says, fight it your way, but please be there. Look at that man's functioning with such freedom. Then the Pandavas go to him. How can we ever win against you? So Bhishma laughs and says, yes, as long as I am alive, the doors of Hastinapura are closed to you. But Yudhishthira says, but then Dharma will not win. He says, quite right. Dharma will not win. There's only one way. What is that? You have to remove me from the scene. How do you do that? How can we ever fight against someone like you and win? He slaps and tells Krishna, Krishna, do you not remember my promise that I will never fight a woman or someone who was born as a woman? That is my code of chivalry. He actually tells them how to kill him. Why? I will live and die by my promise. That's it. So that is the freedom with which he functioned. Naiva kinchet karomiti. I'm not doing anything. I live in that freedom, untouched by all actions. All karma, karma phala. Indriyani, indriyartheshu vartanti iti dharayan. Are you all getting what I am trying to say? What I am trying to illustrate here? Okay? The freedom with which you live and you die, total freedom. No issues about it at all. Free enough to say, hey, you want to kill me? This is how to kill me. Birth and death had no meaning to him. Why? Limitless awareness. Abhi kya hai? I am nothing but the limitless consciousness. Birth and death has no meaning anymore. Then this is illustrated by another example here. He says, Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्र इवाम्बसः ब्रह्मण्यादाय कर्माणि. One who has offered all actions to Ishvara, Brahmana, Sangam Tektva, without any dependency, one who is doing any action. Lipyate na sa papena Padmapatra Ivambasa. Lipyate na sa papena. He is not touched by any karma phala. Like how a lotus leaf in the water, he says. Like a lotus leaf in water. Yeah. Like if you look at a lotus leaf, it's right in the water, but no water droplet sticks to it. You pull out the leaf, it is not wet. It's not wet. There are traditional examples. I don't know how many people have gone to the village and seen a water leaf. Maybe some here I have seen. Next generation, though, I don't know. Whether people would have seen a lotus leaf. Okay, yeah. Then you'll have to go to the supermarket, buy a lotus leaf, come and put it in a bucket of water and show. See? The idea is, even a karma yogi. Okay? See, you can look at this verse from two standpoints. Okay? One, from the standpoint of the reality, I don't do any actions. So what am I going to be touched by anything? Here from the standpoint of Karma Yoga, everything is offered to the Lord. Therefore, I am not touched by anything. Relatively speaking. Not absolutely speaking like the wise person, but in a relative manner. In a relative manner. Okay? Because the sense of acceptance is so high. Now, of course, acceptance will vary from person to person, from your own different stages in life. Yeah. And there may be some situations you can't accept at all. Forget lotus leaf. Forget all that. I can't even accept that fact. Then what do I do? Then what do? You start with from that point. What? I can't accept it. You start by accepting the fact that you can't accept it. Can you do that much? That I can do. Because of the fact I can't accept it. That means what? You are validating your own emotions. And that's a big step to gaining mastery over it. You validate that. Yes, I can't accept it. It's a fact. Can you accept that fact that I am a person who cannot accept these things? Yes. Alright. Then now what can you do? What can you do? Ask for help. Change your way of your thinking. Work around the problem. Work around the issue. Work around the issue. Yeah. Give that guy some galis also if necessary. If it helps you. Accept. He's an idiot. Yeah, you say he's an idiot, no? Then after you calling him an idiot, do you accept? Do you expect any wise behavior out of him? Then he's not the idiot, I'm the idiot. Okay. So like that, with a little sense of humor, with a prayer to Ishvara to give you the strength to accept, you start from wherever you are until you reach this, that Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tektva karoti yaha. Okay? Sangam tektva. Sangam, very often translated as attachment. Okay? I would like to think about it more in the sense of emotional dependency. I depend upon that thing to make me happy. I am emotionally dependent. But the beauty of Karma Yoga is, if you are willing to accept failure, you are willing to accept the non-fulfillment of your desire. That means what? The dependency on that thing to make you happy has already come down. It's already come down. It's a big thing. It's a big step. It's not a small step. Because you are willing to accept the fact that your desire may not be fulfilled. Even before you initiated the action, you are willing to look at it like that. because you are willing to accept the result. Therefore, to that extent, your dependency has come down, because you are telling yourself, I will be okay if I don't get it. I want it, of course I want it. Come on, I'm going to work like hell to get it. Oh yes, of course. Nahi mila, it's okay. I will handle it. So you already become bigger. Before you initiate your first step of action, you have become bigger than your desire. Big thing it is. That's why Karma Yoga as a lifestyle is not small. If you consciously live a life of Karma Yoga, it's not small. It's a huge thing. Nothing gets your mind ready than that. Then a question can come up. If Karma Yoga na lipyate papebhya, why am I doing Karma Yoga? He says that in the next verse. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalaihi indriyerapi yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. Simple, he says. Simple. See, that you want your desire to be fulfilled is a given for everyone, isn't it? Whether you are a karma yogi or a karmata. Karmata means someone who is doing a lot of karma, chasing after his own tail. Okay. You want to fulfill your desire is a given. What is the plus in the karma yogi? That is what he is saying here. He says, Kayena manasa buddhya. Kayena with your body, manasa with your emotions, etc., mind, buddhya with your reasoning, your knowledge, your thinking, okay? Or maybe with just your sense organs, eating something, the pleasure of eating. Okay? Yeah, they're eating something. Especially in lockdown, people are cooking. Yaar, Zomato hai na? Ha, okay. Those apps are there now. So, whatever. Because their kayena, manasa, buddhya, etc. is not involved, only indriya is involved. So that's why he says in some purely sensual pleasure, indriyarapi. Yoginaha karma kurvanti. The yogis act with all these. How? Sangam tyaktva. Because of prasada buddhi, sangam tyaktva. For then what are you doing it for? Atma shuddhaye, antakarna shuddhaye, karma karoni. My main focus is what? That desire has to be fulfilled is a given for everyone. But Atma shuddhi, antakarna shuddhi. Atma shuddhi here, Atma there stands for antakarna, not Sachidananda Atma. Antakarna shuddhaye, for my mind. So that I am freed from the hold of my ragadveshas. Ragadveshas get reduced to only preferences. Either you will fulfill the desire and feel, itna hi hai na, theek hai. Remember, when you were after an object of desire, you make a big thing out of it. Once you get it, okay. Then you feel, okay. Yeah. Then after some time you will start seeing the limitations of it also. For 10 years you wanted a house, your own apartment, your own house. You worked hard, made the money, etc. and got it. What a nice house. It's small, but it is nice. I like it. It's my own. Then after a few days, once you start, then my excitement is gone and doing it up, this, that, etc. And then you move into it. After that, after a few days, it becomes commonplace. And after a few more days, that kitchen should have been a bit like this. You start seeing the limitation of it. That is true for anything. That is true for everything. Yeah. I love this guy, you know. You loved him, you wanted to marry him, you faced all objections from people, but you still this thing, you married him. Then, all happy, happy, happy. And until after some time, he's a great guy, yaar, I love him. But he's such a slob, you know. You'll see a limitation, of course you'll see a limitation. Because a human being, Baba, everyone is limited. You tell your kids it should be like that, home should be spick and span, this, that, etc. And then you bring your kids to meet me. And you have had it. The kids will be thrilled. They'll tell you, Mama, look at Swamiji's table. Look at Swamiji's table. All books flowing everywhere. Certain books are permanently on the table where I'm in front of me. Why? Because my stand for the Zoom, I do the Zoom on phone. So the stand is right there. And I need the books to keep it up to a reasonable height. Then behind there's another stack of books. Why? Because there is where I keep the phone to record the whole thing. So it's permanently there because every day I have a class. So every day I should take all the books and put it inside and bring it out. Yeah. Pagal ban gaya kya? That's not efficient. Is that efficiency? Every day 10 books have to go in and 20 books have to go in and 20 books have to come out. That's not efficient. It's all well arranged height wise, this thing, well stacked, perfect. The kids are thrilled. And the parents are thinking, I thought so, meeting Swamiji, he'll understand something. He understood very good things. That everyone is limited. Don't put anybody on a pedestal. I have a very impressive list of good points. And even more impressive list of the other side. So what I am trying to say is that you will see the limitations of everything. That's how new desires come up. New desires come up, new things come up, until you find the ananda of yourself. Therefore, in between, what are you doing? What is the plus in a karma yogi? Antakarna shuddhi, atma shuddhaye. You are doing it for antakarna shuddhi. And the beauty of it is, after that, you're okay if things are not spick and span as well. Why? Because it's a home, it should look like a home. Swamiji, you're just making excuses. No. I was in the Navy before. And you know how we are supposed to keep our rooms? There'll be an inspection. And the commanding officer will come wearing white gloves. And on top of the cupboard, what is this? It is filthy. There is barely a suspicion of some dust. Suspicion, okay? It's filthy. Drop down and give me 20. He's not asking for 20 bucks, okay? He's asking for 20 push-ups as punishment. So, we have kept our rooms like that, spick and span. So, Swamiji, in the Navy, is it necessary? No, it's not necessary. Certain areas is necessary, yes. Your machinery, spick and span. Your weapons, spick and span. Because you can't afford the weapons to jam when you're firing it. Dust can jam your automatic weapons. Your automatic pistols, etc., they will jam. So you have to keep it spick and span. There it's no compromise. There no compromise. Why? Because it's necessary. Spick and span is necessary. Dust is a very bad thing for automatic weapons, especially your automatic pistols, sidearms, etc. They are all. Therefore, you can't afford to have dust there. Yeah. Because your life and death depends upon that. Yeah. Your life, other person's death. So you better ensure that it is not the other way around, that your weapon jams and the other guy is still firing. Can't afford to do that. Yeah. So there it is necessary. Otherwise, on top of that cupboard where there is a suspicion of dirt or not, it doesn't really matter. But that's a discipline inculcated into you. So we live like that. Oh, there it is okay, fine. Here it is home. Be careful how much of this you tell your kids, okay? You yield an inch, they will take not mile, they'll take the whole house. Men, you yield an inch, they'll take a mile. And woman, you yield an inch, they think they are the ruler. Okay, jokes apart, sexist jokes maybe, but fun, okay, all good nature. Therefore, Sangam Tyaktva Atma Shuddhi. For Antakarna Shuddhi, you will do it. That is the added thing for you, for the Karma Yogi. Okay. Then he says, Yuktaha Karma Phalam Tyaktva Shantim Apnoti Naishtikyam Ayuktaha Kamakarena Phale Saktaha Nibadyate. Yuktaha Karma Yoga Buddhya Yuktaha. Okay. Karma Phalam Tyaktva. By giving up Karma Phala. Giving up Karma Phala? No. But by your willingness to accept the result, whatever it is as good as giving up. It is not giving up. Nobody, if you are given up Karma Phala, why are you doing the karma? You decided, I don't want this. Then why are you working for it? If you have given up the Karma Phala, you don't have to do the karma to get it. But you are doing the karma to get it, meaning you are technically as good as given up the Karma Phala. Why? Because you are willing to accept success or failure both. Therefore, technically, it is called Karma Phala Tyaga. It's a technical expression, has to be understood. Otherwise, you will say Karma Yoga is giving up results of action. If you are giving up fruits of action, why are you doing anything anyway? Babaji ban jao. Become a sadhu. Because we are ready for sannyasa, that means. Because you don't want anything. No, I want it. Then you are not given up Karma Phala. But it is said as Karma Phala Tyaga because you are willing to accept success or failure. That is why it's called Karma Phala Tyaktva. Naishtikim Shantim Apnoti. Naishtikim Shantim. The Shanti that is born of the Nishtha. What Nishtha here? Karma Yoga Nishtha. Nishtha means a commitment to certain thing is called a Nishtha. Japa Nishtha, commitment to Japa. Karma Yoga Nishtha, your life committed to the lifestyle of Karma Yoga. Jnana Nishtha, commitment to owning up the knowledge in your life. Shapada Nishtha. Foodie ityartha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Nishtas can be of anything. Therefore, here, the Shanti that you get out of Karma Yoga Nishtha, you have, he says, Shanti Mapnoti. Why? You are willing to accept success or failure, Baba. You will do your best. Why? Kushalatvam is there in you. You are a capable person. You are a very competent person. You will give it, and you will know anything worth doing is worth doing it well. No half-hearted efforts. You give it a good shot. Focusing on the process, you will do it a good shot. Focusing on your priorities and your process, you will give it a good shot. Phalam is taken care of. I am willing to accept good bad. It frees you. There is a relative freedom right there in the lifestyle of Karma Yoga itself, which he contrasts with the other person. Ayuktaha, one who does not have the Karma Yoga Buddhi. That person. Kamakarena. Okay? Because he is led by, he is driven by the desires. Phale Saktvaha, being dependent on the result. Nibadyate, he is bound. Even though he is working for what he wants, he is still bound. He's working for what he wants. Therefore, actually, you should be happy, no? You got a chance to work for what you're passionate about, yeah? Come on. Then what happened? You're so anxious about the result. You're so worried about the result. You're so much of longing about the result. Therefore, even though you're doing what you love, nibadyate, you're bound. Nibadyate. Why? Because you are driven by kama. To have a drive is one thing. You're a person together. You have a drive to achieve certain things. That's beautiful. But if you are going to be driven, that is not the sign of a master, that's the sign of a slave. That's you are becoming a bullock. You are driven. And like the farmer driving the bullocks, you are also being driven. Only the lash on your back is by your own desire. Not worth it. So is such a life worth it? I mean, forget moksha, etc. for the time being. Just look at it as a life itself. Is it worth it to be driven by your own desires? And you're worried, anxious, tense all the time. By 40, you are getting ulcers and heart attacks. And nowadays, heart attacks are coming in people in their 30s. You're worth it? Definitely not worth it. Yeah, definitely not worth it. Therefore, he says, ayuktaha kamakarena phale saktaha nibadyate. Whereas, yuktaha, karma yoga yuktaha, karma phalam tyaktva, as good as giving up karma phalam. He has a desire, but he is no more driven by it. The person is free to have a desire. Remember, desire is a sign of your freedom. Don't keep blaming desires all the time. Why? Because only a human being who can have a desire. No? A cow cannot get up in the morning and decide, आज breakfast के लिए क्या करेगा? Cutlet खाएगा, omelette खाएगा? You can't have a desire. A human being can have a desire. Therefore, it is a sign of your freedom. A desire is a sign of your freedom. In fact, we say it is Ichha Shakti. Any human being is given 3 Shaktis. Jnana Shakti, the desire, the ability to know things. Ichha Shakti, the ability to desire things. Kriya Shakti, the ability to achieve things, to do things. Shakti Trayam, every person is endowed with these 3. These are your powers. That's why the term uses Shakti, it is your power. Ichha is a Shakti. Do not be enslaved by your own desires. Your own power is enslaving you. Ye kya baat hai? It reminds me, when I was young, we used to go to the holidays. Those days were a native place. So we had a nice house, common family seat. The madham, what do we call it? The family seat was there. And city boy going to a village, early morning will get up and roam all the fields and things like that. So once, and I had a cousin brother who was a few years older. That guy's holidays for him, he would sleep late. I must have been 13, 14, so he was about 18. So I would get up early when I would roam on the... He would always sleep late, because for him it is holidays. He is living in the village, now what's the big deal? But one day I saw him, early morning, when I am roaming in the field, he is also roaming, as though he is looking for something. I said, Bhaiya, kya ho gaya? Did you drop anything here? Haan, I dropped something here last night. I said, you dropped something here last night? You had gone for a movie last night. What did you drop? Because There is a fence there. On the other side of the fence is the lane to come into our house. He said, you had gone for a movie last night. No, I dropped my knife. Huh? Last night you dropped your knife here. What were you doing in the field? You must have come like that and come like that straight into the house. What were you doing here? Then the story comes out. I was walking home when suddenly out of the blue a character appeared in front of me. I was so shocked by his appearance that I didn't want him to take my knife and stab me. Therefore I threw it over the fence. I said, what is the point of you carrying a knife? What is the point of you carrying a knife? If you are scared, somebody will take it away and use it on you. Never carry a knife unless you are willing to use it. If you are not willing to use it, why are you carrying it? It's sensible not to carry it. And find other methods of self-defense. That's what I told him. I rely on my hands, nothing else. I rely on the Lord, nothing else. Why? The world is full of weapons. Because the village roads are very dark. In the night, there are a lot of trees in Kerala. So pitch black it becomes. And in the pitch blackness, a flashlight can be a great weapon. You should know how to use this. Similarly, desire is your Shakti. But we become enslaved by it. Our own weapon is being used against us. What a tragedy. Can there be a greater tragedy than that? Therefore, Karma Yoga Yukta. Karma Yogam Kuru. Take to a life of Karma Yoga, then the Shaktis will become your Shaktis. Ichha is a Shakti. Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. As a lifestyle, you are a person who's endowed with 3 powers. You are an achiever in life. And an achiever is a contributor in life. And with Antakarna Shuddhi, you can go all the way to moksha. All the way. Exposed to a teaching, a life of Karma Yoga, expose yourself to the teaching, you live in freedom. Take the scenic route, have a partner in life, have some kids, have a job, make some money, enjoy life. And Karma Yoga Buddhi, commitment to learning, couple of times, once or twice a week. Commitment to learning means you will listen to the class and think about it also during the week. Okay. Don't come to the next class and then wonder, kaunsa verse kiya, Where do you think I asked? The response tells me a lot of things. So with that, you get your freedom. There is more to it, but good place to stop. Past 6 o'clock. Okay. Any questions, clarifications? Yeah. No. See, it is natural to be happy when you get what you want. It is natural to be a little disappointed when you don't get what you want. But because of Prasada Buddhi, it is kept within certain limits. If you don't get it, you are not depressed. This is okay. You are willing to examine it and say, should I try again? Yeah, I want it. All right, try again. No, not worth it. You can be objective. You are reducing your subjectivity. That's all. Of course, you'll be happy. I mean, if you get what you want, who is not going to be happy? A simple thing. Who is going to be unhappy if the Signal keeps dropping all the time. You'll also say, hey, what is this? Come on. Anyone will be, including a wise person. Similarly, if everything is going smooth, people are happy, no? So that much is there with everyone. So Karma Yoga doesn't mean you become Spock from Star Trek. Neither happy nor what is happiness? No, emotions are not there. It's not like that. Yeah, because you have the ability to feel. That's a big thing. Artificial intelligence don't have that. Unless there are artificial emotions also they start making. Yeah, you have genuine intelligence and genuine emotion. So it's perfectly fine. But you have a balance. Remember what I talked about, the dynamic balance. The balance not of a table, but of a ship at sea. Whatever storm, it's still balanced, it still moves. So the dynamic balance you have. That's what Karma Yoga gives you. Yeah. Otherwise you'll become Spock from Star Trek. That's not the aim. We don't want to be a Vulcan, we want to be human. Okay then, if there are no other questions, we'll call it a day. Okay, Om Tat Sat.